Hey everybody, this is Vince Miller. Thank you so much for joining me for another devotional. Today we're going to be in John chapter 7. I'm going to read verses 44 down through 49 before we begin. I want to encourage you, go to the website, grab one of these ESV scripture journals on the book of John. It's a great way to take notes. There are notes for you to take today that you're going to enjoy, that you will want to remember for a lifetime. So pick that up. Also, if you're looking for prayer today, we have about 30 men that are willing to pray for you. Who doesn't want that? So below the video today, you're going to see a button that says Need Prayer. Just click that button or go to the website on our home page. There's a menu item that says Need Prayer. We got 30 great praying men that would love to pray you through your situation today. But with that, let's begin in verse 44 of chapter 7 in our scripture journals. It reads, some of them, and these are court officials, wanted to arrest him, but no one laid hands on him. So basically they go out to arrest Jesus and no one lays a hand on him. Okay, they got their shackles in their hand and they're standing there in shock. Then the officers came back to the chief priests and the Pharisees, so their bosses, who said to them, why did you not bring him? Where's Jesus? And the officers answered, no one ever spoke like this guy. And the Pharisees answered them, have you also been deceived? Have any of the authorities or the Pharisees believed in him? But this crowd that does not know the law is accursed. Now, there is something very, very special happening here that John sees, and he sees it as he is reflecting on it and telling us the story. And it's not just the natural events of this moment. It's God's divine providence in this very moment. But to see what John sees, you're going to have to understand a couple of forces that were at play at this time. First, the force of political and religious influence on the Jews during their time. And then second, the force behind the role of the high priest in the religious court. So first, during this time, there were three religious political groups that essentially influenced all of Jewish culture. Think of them like religious denominations combined with political parties all rolled into one. That sounds wonderful, doesn't it? Now, there were three primary groups at this time. They were the Sadducees, the Pharisees, and the Essenes. So Sadducees, Pharisees, and Essenes. Remember that. You're going to need to know that much later. Now, only a tiny minority of people actually belonged to these groups, but they each held significant influence on Jewish life. The Pharisees, of course, were the largest, and they consisted of about a few thousand members by the time of Jesus. Second, you got to understand the influence of the role of the high priest. Now, originally, a high priest was a male selected by God from the line of Aaron, and he served in that role for life. However, by this time, Roman powers influenced the role of the high priest. In fact, King Herod, one of the client kings of Rome, selected high priests to do his bidding. He just steps in and influences this role. The first was Annas, but by the time of this text, Caiaphas, Annas' son-in-law, was the current high priest and served alongside Annas. So this means that we have two high priests, not selected by God, not from the line of Aaron, who did not serve for life and essentially did Roman bidding. So biblical order was completely ignored and man did whatever he wanted with this role. And these high priests were simply doing the bidding of the Roman government to kind of maintain their position of power with the elite. So if you then reread the text with this context in mind, you're going to see something different happening. You're going to see a counterfeit system and its leaders conspiring to arrest Jesus. They send court officials out to arrest him, but on approach, they encounter Jesus, the true high priest, the real one, the one of divine order, the high priest of the highest order who stood in his temple teaching his people. And his teaching is so powerful that even his enemies are arrested by it, so much so that they return empty-handed. This is a pretty phenomenal sight to John because he understands all the happenings. And now that you see what John sees, you're seeing what he saw. Divine authority arresting the hearts of men. Divine authority arresting the hearts of man. And guess what? Jesus still does this. And we should invite Jesus to continue to do the same. So do that today. Pray for the heart of someone you know who is resistant and combative to Jesus. Pray that they will be arrested by the one who no one arrests. I love you guys. I pray this has blessed you today. If you need anything, reach out for prayer, and I'll see you right back here again tomorrow.